Hey everybody, it's Monica King with King's Titan Homestead and welcome to my channel. Today we have a book that I just got in the mail, Seasons of the Desert by Sonoran Rosie. So the cover is really lovely. I love whoever, and I didn't read the artistic like who the artist was, because the book is full of really beautiful drawings, like this. I mean, I think they'd make neat wall hangings. I mean, they're very unique, kind of abstract, but yet very cool looking. I love the art in this book. The one thing that I'm a little disappointed in is that it is a very beginner's foraging book, which is cool. That's okay. But some of the information is incorrect, which worries me. People might, as soon as I start reading it and I see things that I know are not right, then I start questioning other things. But she's still alive, so the other things that she's using in recipes are apparently not toxic. So that's a plus. But here's my point. But I'm going to start out with just a few little notes. So I made a note of the lupin. So if anybody has been on my channel before, you might have heard me say that the lupin is bad for bees. They have actually done research. This is not just me saying it, not just the old timers in the beekeeping industry saying it, but when we have lupin blooming, we notice a decrease in the quality of our brood, or the very young bees inside of the colony that have not emerged from their cells yet. So the pollen that's brought in from lupin is damaging. The research was done on bumblebees, not on honeybees, but they show similar resemblances in the issues that the lupin causes, which brings me to this really great comment that she had made, which is oils that promote skin health can be extracted from lupin seeds. The flower is not recommended for herbal uses as it has a toxic chemical that must be removed from the seed before consuming. Yeah. Lupin, not good for people as far as the flower is concerned. Toxic chemical, that's what's bad for the bees too. They take that home in their pollen and then they feed it to their young. It doesn't kill the adult bees directly, but it does hurt the babies. So with that said, this is something that unless it's a time period of super bloom, I never forage for bouquets, ever. Our pollinators need that more than we do. So I'm not going to go out there and make a bunch of bouquets for inside the house. The bees and the butterflies and the hummingbirds and all the ants, all the way down to the, every insect in the desert needs these instead of us having them inside the house for pretty. And so a lot of the foraging notes is just for that. Like, gather them. They make great bouquets. These are a great dry. You can even dry this one. It holds up really well, which is okay. But I personally would not do that unless it's a super bloom period. Or you grow it in your garden and you're not hurting wildlife. So this book has a lot about pressing the flowers and drying the flower heads and using them more in like bath bombs and stuff like that versus actual like sustainable like food. So with that said, this is where some of the issues that I have are. Desert willow This is a great, desert willow is like one of those um, grocery store plants. I mean, it's got many, many uses in the desert willow. However, foraging. This tree has many uses. Indigenous peoples use the wood from the desert willow to create bows and baskets. No, they use the Goddings willow, not the desert willow. So the Goddings willow, we hardly ever see that anymore. It's something that has pretty much almost disappeared from our landscape. The Goddings willow is along the riverbeds and they need a lot of water. So when those willows started to disappear, the indigenous people, or the O'atham of our area here, started using more yucca and bear grass to make those baskets because the Goddings willow disappearing, they didn't have access to it anymore. Desert willow is everywhere. You can find that everywhere. So they had to stop using willow to make baskets. If they had to stop using the willow to make baskets, there wouldn't be an abundance of willow, right? So anyway, so that one is incorrect. So when I read things that are incorrect, I start going, wonder what else might not work in here. Tuberosa. Let's just go to tuberosa here. Tuberosa, though rare, has a multiple of uses. How is this rare? Tuberosa is everywhere in the areas that I go hiking, and yeah, so some of the things is basically it's personal experience, and I get that. She mentions that in the beginning of the book that, I think she's been doing this for like 10 years, and that's all well and good, but it just depends on where you go. So just because you go to an area that doesn't have a lot of tuberosa doesn't mean that tuberosa is rare in southern Arizona. Okay. I'm going to go to the lyre leaf jewel flower. Foraging. No known foraging uses. What? This is a brassica. This is a wild mustard family, like a mustard family. No known uses. I've eaten the seed pods, the very young seed pods on it. They're very peppery, very spicy. It's a mustard. So, and you can go into books from John Slattery, who is a bioregional botanist, and see his recipes and his uses for jewel flower. So a lot of research was not put into this book. This book is more of just a personal diary of uses that this one person uses the plants for. So with that said, there are a few things in it that I went, oh, that's interesting. And I did learn a few things, but I haven't applied them yet and researched them myself in order to make sure. But one of the things I'm going to try is that she mentioned something about yucca blossoms and how they're delicious in an air fryer. Oh, I never tried that. I'm going to try that. So thank you, Sonora and Rosie, for that little tip there. So yeah, there's some things in it that I did pick up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try those things and I'm going to apply them, and then I add it to my own personal use. But it's not a thorough book, and I get that. That's not the intention of it. The intention was just to share her knowledge of 10 years. And how she uses them. There are recipes in here, like creosote bush foraging oil and salve. There's, basically her uses. So, and then there's references. So, I mean, going to the references and looking at them, I still would have utilized other people's work. These, I think, mostly are like papers done on the plants. So yeah, Javier Hernandez, Desert Broom, another medicinal plant, in the Arizona Daily Independent from 2015. Well, you can just, go to some of the other foraging books on the Southwest that are available, and you'll learn a lot more, is kind of what I'm saying. I do like the book. I'm going to keep it, put it in my library, and I'll probably go and visit Sonora and Rosie's store, because she does have a storefront, and that's something I didn't know about. So the book helped her with that. And I can't remember, what is it called? Arizona Poppy, I think. So I think there's like 70 different local vendors at Arizona Poppy. So it's a place I'm going to go check out. So, I mean, I was told by a friend one time that introduced me to doing book reviews that if you don't have anything good to say about the book, don't do the review. That's what the publishers had told her. Like, don't do negative reviews. I'm not doing a negative review. I'm going to start, let's do the book like on a scale of 1 to 10. I would give this one a 6 or a 7. So if you have limited space and limited funds, I would say no, don't add this one to your shelf if you're interested in foraging. But if you have lots of space and you want to have a very, like a thorough library, then pick it up. But if you're just beginning out, I would get something that's a little bit more thorough in the foraging area. So, but it's got some neat stuff. So yeah, a 6 or 7 on my rating. Beautiful book though.